Uh, on my day off yesterday, what did I do? Well, last week I had a full day out with my wife. This week we decided to stay home, but I still had errands and things that I had to run. Um, various different things that I had to do. In particular, here's how the day started. So I wake up in the morning, and here's how we start our day. Basically, we wake up, and usually have a drink, a cup of coffee, and my wife likes to put some peanuts in a little bowl that we put out back, and we have all kinds of woodland creatures that come by to munch on some peanuts in the morning. We got little squirrels that come by, tons of different kinds of birds that we've seen, and incidentally, there's actually a stray cat that's been coming by the yard just for like a minute at a time, but it's very afraid. It doesn't like humans, so it has no collar or nothing, and it's very afraid of humans. So if it sees us, it runs. But it was neat to see all these. Every morning we put out a little bit of peanuts, and they come by for 15, 20 minutes, and you get to see some nice wildlife. And Jasper loves it because then if the wildlife comes by, he gets to be there at the back door. He's like going crazy. He gets to see and interact with the wildlife, and he loves it. What's funny is at first, the wildlife were very afraid of Jasper. But now they know he's an indoor cat. He doesn't go outside, so they're not afraid of him anymore. They come right up. They'll eat the peanuts or whatever. It's very cute. But yesterday, all right, I go downstairs, and I'm using the bathroom or whatever. And my wife goes downstairs, and she puts out our usual bowl of peanuts or whatever. And I go into the kitchen. I start making my coffee, and I walk to the back. I say, uh-oh, what's that? I look down. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not kidding you. Ready for this? Ants! Fucking ants. It's February, and there's ants coming into the house. I was very upset. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, we got rid of these last year. We had them for weeks and weeks. It was like a month and a half. These fucking ants wouldn't stop coming in our house. And so the last thing I wanted was the ants to return and think that this house is a place where they could get food. Now, there's already kind of some good news. So last year I had bought these ant traps. Now the way ant traps work is they have ant bait poison in them, and it's basically like a clear gel. And I think the clear gel apparently has like sugar or something in it that's attractive to the ants, but it's also got bug poison in it. So we had these in the house, and one of them, the one incidentally at the back door, had leaked onto the floor. Now we had tried to clean it, but it's very sticky, gooey shit, and I didn't get solvent or whatever. So we just kind of left it there. We're like, it's a little bit on the floor, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's just sitting right there on the edge of the back door. So, hey, if anything ever tries to come in, they're going to go right for that, and that's the poison anyway, right? And the good news is, no, thankfully, Jasper doesn't want it. He's not going for it or anything. Cats, by the way, don't like sweet. If you don't know that, cats do not like sweet. They can't taste the flavor of sweet. They can only taste salty or savory. So to him, that's nothing. He's like, he doesn't even know what that is, so he doesn't even he doesn't touch it or nothing. He doesn't lick it. So we just left it there. And I'm looking down. I got ants that had come into the house, and they all went for this gooey, sticky pile of leftover bait, poison, whatever you want to call it, and they're basically eating it. And I was like, ooh, well, this is actually fortuitous, because if that had not been there, those ants might have snuck in, and what they did last year, they would go immediately from the back door to the what do they call that? The woodwork at the bottom of your wall. I forget what it's called. The not the paneling, not the awning. What is that called? The piece of wood you put at the bottom of your wall. I can't remember. It has a name for it, okay? Is it a baseboard, a footboard, whatever you want to call it? So they would go under there. Now you can't see them because they're under the baseboard. You can't see them at all. And they would go all the way around the dining room. And then at one point, randomly, they would just jump out. And now you'd have ants all over the house, okay? They would use that baseboard as a way to protect themselves so we couldn't see them going through the house. And they would just attack, basically go out looking for food. And if that poison had not been there at the back door, likely they would have went all through the house. But thank God, the poison was there. So they're all eating it. I was like, ha, we got them. So I ended up squishing a bunch of them. Maybe some of them got it and left and went back to the colony. I don't know if they did. That's the whole point. You're trying to kill off the colony. And we kept looking at it all day. I'd say probably for about another 2 hours. Every once in a while, we saw a couple of ants. And we got rid of them. But then it stopped. So the good news is, after a couple hours of keeping our eye on it, it looked like it was only a very few little bit of ants had come in, and we had put an end to it right away. So I already had ant spray from last year, and I sprayed the whole back step of our, that leads up to our back door. And Then, when I was out, I bought ant traps. And I put one just outside the door, and I put one just inside the door. So now these guys come, and they're hungry, which is the reason they're coming. They're going to go right for those traps, get the food. And we should put the kibosh on this shit right away this year. No more month and a half of being infested with goddamn ants like we were last year. That was a nightmare. Constantly more ants coming into the house. And it was like every time we thought we got rid of them, more ants, more ants. Like, what the fuck is this? These fucking ants. I mean, the only way that we 100% got rid of it last year is that I was constantly, like, for a week to 2 weeks, I was spraying the ant spray on the back step. And then the landscapers came by for, like, early, like, between spring and summer, like, that time. And they did a thorough landscaping of our yards. And when they did, I think they might have disturbed wherever the anthill was that they were coming from. And that was the end of it. We never saw them again for the entirety of the year up until now. So, gotta hope for the best. And I got traps already out, and I think we're okay. Because now we got it early. We caught it. As soon as it happened, we caught it. We already had the thing in place. So hopefully this will not become an issue. Can't have ants. Tired of this shit. Last year was a nightmare. We don't want that back. I hate having fucking bugs like that in the house. It's gross. Okay?